Good morning, good evening, good night. Oh, denizens of the deep and dark places of which your mind must falter. Step forward, step through, and enter once again into the lurkers of the lobby. As always, I'm Griffey, your host, and with me today is my esteemed co-host, who is marking and mapping out the ways of madness. He is...
I'm Andy. Hi, Gruff. I've been belched from out a giant wobbly Tindalos.
Have you been sent out of Tindalos's bum?
I have.
Have you been bumdalost?
Oh, I see what you did there.
I don't.
Bumming.
Bums.
Sex with a man bum.
Bum.
Of bum in the night. Oh, do you remember Bump in the Night?
Oh, God.
Did you say that was Cthulhian? Hello, Cthulhian.
Go on. Yeah, just for this once. Just until the end of this show, that can be Cthulhian.
Yay!
Yeah, for a bit of a laugh.
Yeah, why not?
A bit of a laugh. But we are not alone, Andy.
No.
You appear to have brought a box.
I didn't bring him.
There is a box marked Moonbase 2.
No.
I'm tempted to open this box. Shall we see what's inside?
Why not?
What's in the box? Yeah.
I think that's a fair comment.
Yes. Hello.
Don't like how he laughs at us.
Hello, thing that's laughing in the box.
Where am I? Why don't I have any pants on? Ah!
Is it
another Tuesday?
It's not the lack of pants is the problem. If you just get into this nice, cold, ice-filled bath, we'll be all right.
Wait, what? Why do you have knives? What's with that? Some sort of cooler next to the bath?
Yo, Mikey, I need a new digital camera. That's all you need to know. Just know that your contribution will be loved.
Wouldn't it be easier just to hit Dave and take it off him?
No, it's less fun that way.
I have a question for you, Mikey.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything you want to say? Anything that you'd like to, retract or, mention?
Oh no, what did
Your
I
enormous
do?
cock? Shipping?
Hang on, was Mikey going to... Were you trying to get Mikey to retract your cock?
Yes.
Oh God, take it back.
I've broken my belt. Oh no. Mikey, you broke
Let's get it out of the way here. Gog's cock. Shipping. I get free stuff and people are awesome. Andy has the eyes of a cold stone killer and Gog's big bear cock.
Wow, there you go.
Oh, that's okay.
You need more bells. Sounds like you're slapping a table.
He bought a terrible bell. He does not have a high-class bell like Tricky. Like, Tricky has a good bell. Like, it goes off if you touch it.
Yes. Well,
Like,
I don't want
you need to kind of rev it up.
I don't really want to rev up Tricky's bell, thank you.
Well, you don't have to. You just touch it once and it goes off with yours. You need to, prepare it. You got to talk to it. You got to be kind to it. You got to romance it.
Just give it a light flick and you get a good ding.
Yeah.
I am not flicking Tricky's ding.
Yours, I mean, you tap it and tap it and tap and tap and you just barely get it out of it.
Is that a sign of old age?
I think it's a sign of at least something that needs to look at.
I've just broken my pencil over the top of it.
Ladies and gentlemen, remember, be careful of breaking pencils over the top of your bells. Lead can go places.
So, moving on quickly.
Or graphite, as it's more technically known. I'd like to see, for some people, it's just like he broke a pencil in fury. In my mind, that was the last bit of sanity snapping.
That was no sanity. What are you talking about? Have you listened to Gruff on podcasts?
Oh, God.
Or in person?
No. Listen to him.
Oh,
Yeah.
You didn't need to listen that one night, Mikey. You didn't need to listen.
No, because I saw enough, thank you very much. I mean, Jesus, a little decorum, sir.
Well, to be fair, after that one night, Mikey has clearly been affected. Yes.
Coming from a man who spent the next morning in a sleeping bag, wandering around the room, going, I'm a rape snail. In 2 years, I'm going to get you. Rape. I'm not going to be judged.
But I didn't talk about Gruff's penis.
No, that they were anointing basically at their hand to do things.
Yeah,
Horrible, filthy things, slowly, because you're a snail and sticky.
of course.
Moving on quickly. For this is Lurkers in the Lobby, and we have a thing to watch and things to talk about and stuff to ask. So, as we always do with this show, Mikey.
Yes?
I want you to tell me about your thoughts and feelings towards H.P. Lovecraft and how you first discovered the works of H.P. Lovecraft.
Well, I'm a relative newcomer to Lovecraftian mythos. It's one of those things I always knew existed, but was kind of on the edge of my senses because I've never been a big horror buff. I don't know. I was never really exposed to it much as a child. When I got older, I just like, if I want to be scared, I'll read the news or watch Sky or something. So it was only in the last couple of years that I've really taken an interest in it. Now, I've only recently been able to pick up some collections for cheap. And I'm actually in the middle of reading what is, it's basically titled The Cthulhu Mythos, which is a collection of stories taken from Lovecraftian works, which is specifically who what most people would consider Lovecraftian, the Cthulhu element of it.
Yeah,
the old
Cthulhu cycle, as it's often called.
Exactly.
The mythos.
Quite interesting to see debate about what actually counts as a story, because it's just arguing over, does Aegon count, does the Nameless City count, etc., etc., because he has quite a few recurring themes in all of his stories, from what I've seen, and there is a gray area between what is specifically part of the cycle and what is just a Lovecraftian short story. I recently picked up a very interesting book, which is Black Tales of Cthulhu, which is a collection of Lovecraftian stories written in the last 3 years. I believe it was commissioned by the Lovecraft Society.
All right, the Lovecraft Historical Society.
Yeah. It's got a really good introduction. I've only read a couple of the stories, but they've captured the feeling, but they've modernized some of it. Some of it in some places, and in other places they've gone for proper. It's like they took the writing style and placed it in today.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically, they're not after stories that continue telling you about Cthulhu or other Lovecraftian elements or whatever. They're after something that captures the vibe and the spirit.
The feel.
Lovecraft.
Yeah.
Does
that mean that every thing ends with, as I type this email, oh God, it's coming up the stairs. My shaky hands cannot type fast enough to send this email. I would press send, but the evil has already got me.
No, the internet's connection's dying. It's slow. It's so slow.
Oh, no. Oh, God, my broadband. Why did I go with it, BT?
Oh,
I can hear the dial-up sound, and it terrifies me.
No, that's it. I'm working on a broadband computer, but I can hear a dial-up connection. So I'm reading those at the moment. Very interesting collection. I'd actually say if anyone wants to expand on their stuff, it's a good one. Seen a couple of the movies. Loved the Call of Cthulhu silent movie.
Yeah.
A brilliant piece of. It doesn't. You want to say amateur, but it doesn't feel amateur. It feels very professionally constructed.
Well, that's something we talked about quite a lot, wasn't it, Andy? That it doesn't feel like it's a fan movie, so to speak. They do a really good job in sort of sanding up the edges.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm developing a real interest in it now. Early days, very early days, but hopefully in the next couple of months, I'll have finished reading most, if not all, of the Lovecraft stories, and I'm going to start doing a lot more of the adaptations and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But what I really like about it, and I seem to be repeating, I've mentioned this to you last night, I seem to be repeating what a lot of people say, which is that Lovecraft's not a brilliant writer.
No.
He's average. He's a pulp writer.
Yeah.
His stuff was published in those kind of pulpy magazines that really you'd get stuff like a Maltese Falcon, except they were more sci-fi and horror based. And what little I know of the man himself is that he was not a ray of sunshine.
Yeah, that's a word for it.
Dude had issues, and yeah, but I mean, I think it'd be really interesting at some point to, like, if Lurkers in the Lobbies ever ends, you could do like a roundtable of Lovecraft. How crazy was he? Or was he really just misunderstood?
As there is there's only a finite amount of these that we can actually do.
Yeah.
So it would be interesting to sort of round it all off with a couple of people who'd been on as guests, just talking in general about the works of Lovecraft.
And people's reaction to it, because it's, obviously, the Lovecraft mythos has expanded way beyond its original intent.
Well, yeah, and it's been doing so for years. I mean, oh God, who was the author? But there was a book series that started with The Burrows Beneath. Lumley, Brian Lumley wrote him. And
is that fella that people got kind of annoyed at because he started adding a sense of morality in writing?
No, that would be Clark Ashton Smith.
Ah.
Fucking Clark Ashton Smith.
Yeah, because he started making the entities either good or evil.
Yeah. There are elements...
Of course, defeats the entire purpose of Lovecraft.
Yes. There are elements in that in the third book. But once you get into the adventures of Titus Crow and his goddamn freaking bionic body traveling through time in a fucking clock, then you kind of lose the will to live. But The Burrows Beneath...
Did you sliders? Is that what it was?
They did a cross between Sliders and Doctor Who. It's just...
That's awesome.
It's really not...
I need to read this.
No, it isn't when you start getting friendly Cthulhu. It's...
Oh, man! Whoa! Cthulhu's one of the good guys!
No, but there's a race of them.
This is kawaii Cthulhu.
And you get...
I just broke my own eardrums. But, oh, God, if there's actually a novel version of that Cthulhu's thing from the Arnco. The green-haired one, what's she called?
Oh, I can't.
Moving on.
You need to do that, by the way. So yeah, I really enjoy the world building because he had some phenomenal ideas, and it says a lot about the mind of the man. What essentially the message of it is of we are, it's an idea that is actually very modern in terms of scientific thinking. And, a lot of very militant scientists or atheists, you'll find, really do harp on about how humans are this tiny little grain of nothing on a tiny little grain of nothing in a tiny grain of little nothing on a tiny grain of sand.
Yes.
To the point of just like, you're very, very depressing, guys.
Or you tell me that you don't find that a uplifting and happy thing to know?
Well...
That everything you do is meaningless.
People only say this in conversation, either when they're trying to prove a point or they're feeling really down. And I don't like talking to anyone in either of those situations because it's just like, go away. But Lovecraft's approach to it is very interesting because it's very similar to modern thinking. So I find it intriguing, the world, the idea, the incomprehensibility of everything he describes. Because the most recent story I read was The Nameless City.
Yes.
And that goes into the mummified ancient race, which I don't think... They're not the deep ones, are they?
No,
they're
something else entirely.
They're just a sister race or a race that happened to exist at the same time or whatever. And the main character is describing them. And he's going, well, they're vaguely reptilian. But they're so unlike anything. They're like a crocodile crossed with a cat, crossed with a dog, crossed with a bird, crossed with something else. It's like your brain, your brain is registering ideas, but it can't understand them. And I had a very interesting chat with an artist friend of mine who said he really hates the way people draw Cthulhu and the original description of him because... the statues in the book are described as this squatting being with head made of tentacles and dragon wings.
Yeah, it's I'm trying to think of the exact wording was, it's the meeting point betwixt dragon and octopus. No, dragon and cephalopod, that was it.
Yeah.
Because Lovecraft didn't go to bed without its thesaurus.
Yeah, we can't. I think he married it, didn't he?
Certainly explain a lot.
But I was having a chat with my artist friend, and he was just going on about that. He really, really hates that because the entire point of Lovecraftian mythos is that the universe is vast beyond your comprehension, and in it are beings that are so far beyond us in terms of ability and power that it's not just that you can't understand them. Your brain is not capable of processing what they are.
Yeah.
And his thing was, well, the description provided in the Call of Cthulhu is not to be taken literally. It is to be taken as this is what the brain
registers.
Of the narrator.
Yeah.
And the sailors who saw Cthulhu, this is how they made sense of it. But he entered an art competition. He basically drew an amorphous mass
Mhm.
in a vague, monstrous shape, and it just like his point. You had to include a title. He said, "This is not supposed to be what Cthulhu looks like. This is what I would see if I was looking at this thing."
Yeah.
And I really like the idea of that these things are just beyond us. It's quite depressing when you think that the ultimate message of the Cthulhu mythos is they're going to wake up probably sooner rather than later, and enjoy your life while you've got it.
Well, it's something that we've discussed many a time, that in the Cthulian mythos, if the best you can hope for is death.
Yeah. Yep.
I think it is actually quite a good message, because it's like saying live your life to the fullest before you'll once wake up and fuck you up.
If you look at it from the point of view of how modern sci-fi and modern fantasy and horror is constructed, even the most horrific stories, the ones that end with the world ending, everyone going down, the message in it for people is that there's a way out. It just, in this case, it happens you didn't find it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the message from the Lovecraftian story is, no, there is no way out. The apocalypse is coming, and the apocalypse will reduce this world to a wasteland in the best case scenario.
And I think that's probably why a lot of the time it's the loose adaptions of Lovecraft's work into cinematic media that works rather than a direct adaptation.
Yeah,
there's a lot of time
like In the Mouth of Madness, kind of thing.
In the Mouth of Madness, Dagon, which takes some serious liabilities.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, the Dagon short story is 4 pages long.
Yeah.
And I've seen clips of Dagon the movie, and I don't remember any of that.
No. It's because Dagon the movie takes more out of the Shadow of Rinsmouth. But yeah, I mean, I suppose Dagon's probably got the happiest ending because he learns to accept the fact that he's fucked. It's like, oh well, might as well do it.
Well, in fairness, he's not fucked. It's kind of everybody else who's fucked.
No.
Just
in
the good people.
What is it, in the last pages? He's going on about how the drugs don't work. They just make things worse.
This is the
other option. That's basically it. It's just like, I don't like being on drugs, but it's better than the other option of seeing things for how they really are. And as he's writing the last pages, just before he jumps out the window, it's just like, oh God, I see a hand for a window.
Yeah, that's very different from the movie.
Oh, massively so. Massively so.
The deep ones have found him in the books, and they're just about to come through the door.
Out of interest, have you read Shadow over Innsmouth or Mountains of Madness yet?
No, they're much later in the collection. I'm not sure. I don't think the arrangement has any real order to it, because the next story is Call of Cthulhu. I know that's relatively late in publication. I think it might be in publication order, or might not be in publication order, rather. I'm not sure. But actually, that's something I always really like. That Cthulhu himself either isn't one of the elder gods, or is pretty minor in the grand scheme of things.
He is. He's basically the gatekeeper.
But he's become the embodiment of the idea. And if you ask people to describe Cthulhu, they describe this all-powerful, super being monster god. And it's just like, well, that's the scary part. To you, he's that. He's basically the doorman.
Yeah, when he wakes up... I mean, the way that I always looked at it is he's the high priest. It's when he wakes up, it's his job to start calling in all the old ones, to start waking up the nameless things like Nelhub-Shabarath and I keep wanting to call it Nylonathotep, thanks to Discworld. The laddering horror Nylonathotep.
He's the party planner.
If that one wakes up, we're either all fucked or we're saved, because all we have to do is chase it around with a fork.
I think the one that I always enjoyed was Azeroth, the bubbling madness, the crawling chaos. Anyhow, so what we're going to do tonight is we're going to watch, after all this heavy discussion, we're going to watch Real Ghostbusters. Because the Real Ghostbusters actually did 2 heavy Lovecraftian episodes.
Surprisingly.
Yeah.
You say surprisingly, that show is fucked up.
The Real Ghostbusters to this day I still think is the show that came out of the 80s, weathering it the best.
Not in terms of animation, though.
No,
it gets a bit wobbly.
80s feeling like a mid-90s show.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of the stuff... I mean, that show freaked me out when I was young. I mean, it properly freaked me out.
Same.
And I think it compares better to shows like Mighty Max
Oh,
or Men in Black in terms of themes and darkness than it does to anything else that came from its own era. It's like they have all the goofiness and everything, but when it hits the tone, the designs are spectacular.
Mhm.
And just the overall vibe of that show is it's strange. It does not feel like a show of its time.
No, it doesn't. I remember talking about this when we did the Halloween special. There's an entire episode where the Ghostbusters, the entire point of the episode is to get a guy who is a proper horseman, ghost horseman. It's just to get him to where he needs to be so he can find peace. Okay.
Well, you're not going to stick him in a box? No.
No.
It's just about him.
It's quite bizarre. And, of course, if anybody asks, I have a massive love for Extreme Ghostbusters.
It's a good
I
show.
love that show.
Yeah.
That was a great show. Handy
So
capable.
Cthulhu in as well. I remember right.
I don't remember.
Oh no, I keep thinking that the end's about Cthulhu, but it's not. It's about some other big blob thing, right?
Yeah, I remember the episode that stands out of that for me was that they were chasing a ghost that highlighted their ultimate fears.
Mhm.
And what one of them was afraid of spiders. What's her name? The girl.
Kylie.
Kylie.
Yeah.
Kylie. The wheelchair guy, I think, was actually just afraid of people trying to help him. But then you got to, oh God, it's been years since I've seen this, so please excuse me for not getting names right. The sarcastic goatee wearing Spanish dude.
Yes.
Was it Guillermo or something? I can't
I
remember.
just love that his greatest fear is death because
Makes sense.
he hunts ghosts.
Yep.
And it's just like, as a child, it just seems like everyone's afraid of death, and his greatest fear is death. And it's just like, but you're around it all the time. Just like, yeah, and I'm fucking terrified of it.
Mm.
It was just such a fun show.
Yeah. So that late 90s, early 2000s of Men in Black, Ghostbusters Extreme, got a lot of time for. Even the Godzilla one that they did.
I thought that show was really good because it completely ignored the movie.
Yes. And it was interesting.
Yeah, it took a design that was fine. It was kind of generic giant monster dino, but it was fine. And it made it Godzilla. And then it added a couple of other elements. And it had some violence and some cool designs, really cool designs.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then it's a massive Monster Island reference series.
Then it had some great music.
Mm.
Bomb.
So, shall we get on to watching this first episode then?
Yes.
Right, this is episode 32 of season 2. It is the Collect Call of Cthulhu, and we are pressing play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
Mark.
I used to get so excited when this came on.
For Vegeta, go snap!
It was one of those shows. I like that. I've never been into horror or something, but this was the show I wanted to watch to be scared.
Yeah, I only had like seen 3 episodes or something because I had a videotape. It had college ghosts, if that makes sense. They made a big fish and it ate some people, and then there was the baseball game one which was on it, and I think that was about the only 2 that I'd ever seen.
It's a shame,
That's
though,
it.
because there's, especially sort of mid-season, there are episodes which deal with the Ghostbusters themselves. I mean, there's an entire sequence of episodes about Venkman's relationship with his father.
But no, not Winston.
But not Winston.
As we talked before the show.
Yeah, Winston only gets one shot.
Yep.
And we did that.
He gets 1 win.
We did that one in the Halloween special. Go and listen to it.
Yeah.
So this is the Collect Call of Cthulhu, spelt wrong, written by Michael Reeves.
Cthulhu.
This day I'm not entirely sure why they called it Cthulhu.
Maybe at the start they were originally meaning it to have the episode about a big girl Cthulhu.
Kathy Cthulhu.
Yeah. Hey, we've got a big female Galactus now, so.
Do we?
Yeah, what's her name? Galaxy or something like that? Galatea. Galatea, the daughter of Galactus. She was made to be an anime reference.
Oh, I remember now.
She has a big appetite, but she tries to be a good girl.
It's the Necronomicon.
Yeah.
I remember first seeing this and being like, oh my god, it's the Necronomicon. With a far less scary face than in Evil Dead. granted.
The Necronomicon's a weird little thing that's appeared in pop culture. Like, it won't go away, and it's always being used for something.
Are you sad, though, that it never goes away?
Well, I don't know. It's the Necronomicon.
It's very rarely used to its original intent.
No.
Oh, of course not.
It's a book of knowledge.
It's not the gateway to hell itself. It's to tell you about the gateway to hell and how you don't go left.
Well, I think the best way to avoid going to hell is not reading the book, but people read the book and then go to hell.
I always like the idea of Abdul Harrid.
He seemed like a fun guy.
I always like to think that somewhere in there's a thing that says other works by this author. Yeah, it's the Mad Arab Abhal al-Harrid's Book of Humorous Cat Stories.
Yeah.
That would have been glorious. That would have genuinely been glorious.
Oh, the Cthulhian monstrosities just eating security guard.
Next up, Bambi's mother is shot.
See, I like to prefer like he was going, excuse me, do you know where the neck for no guy's fainted, doesn't he? Yeah.
I was looking for the wreck. Oh, for God's sake. I swear. Get out of here.
Taxidermy section, please.
Excuse me, I'm looking for Guillermo del Toro. He's promised me work.
He's promised me a friggin' movie. Where is that, Del Toro?
You're 20 years too late, mate. Oh,
20 years too early.
God, as much as I love this show, my God, that is hella 80s ass voice acting.
Oh, yes, and hella 80s hair as well.
But in fairness, the guy that does, Egon?
Morris Tarsh.
Yeah, I think he does a good job because when he's in Extreme Ghostbusters, and he doesn't change too much, really.
No. I think he's fine. It's just the overall...
They get tidied up in kind of line delivery and stuff. But...
Especially at this stage. It's like, what, season 2?
Yes.
So some of these guys are really kind of dead. Like Paul Winston's kind of extreme deadpan, and a lot of the other side characters, like you listen to them and this is like no feeling. So I was attacked by a ghost. And it was really
Am I the only one who think Winston looks like Frank Welker?
Winston looks like Frank. What?
Which one do you think Winston is?
I think Winston looks like Frank Welker.
Winston, what color skin does Winston have?
Very dark.
Okay, I was just checking.
What color skin does what does Frank Welker look like?
I think he looks like Ray. You know, the guy he voices.
Yeah, I would have said that.
No, Winston.
I like the idea that the reaction to what does Frank Welker look like, does he look like a bitch? I ain't gonna fuck him like that.
God damn.
Mikey. Interestingly enough, the librarian here is named Clark Ashton, after Clark Ashton Smith. Clark Ashton Smith,
the bad one, the one Gruff doesn't like.
And later on, we get Ted Klein, who is another mythos writer. And so I'll throw all the other names that they shout at you as they turn up.
Cthulhu, I heard of him, he bad. I like how Cthulhu's a ghost.
Well, no. They kind of explain that later on.
Yeah, they get around to it.
You know what I've never understood?
Why did they go into a sewer? Sewers are always bad.
Like Cthulhu's small enough to get into the building.
It's not Cthulhu, it's a small.
Not Cthulhu.
Oh, look, did you see the rat in the wall?
Yep. Oh, wah, wah.
Seriously, this is like Transformers animated level of references.
But they don't have a Shoggoth on the roof.
No, they do not. I love the designs for these things, for the spawn.
Yeah.
The star spawn just look really cool.
And they're not all the same as well, which is neat.
You can always tell that the guys who did the designs for 80s cartoons also worked for like Dungeons and Dragons and TSR and whatnot.
Totally. Well, that was just the style back then, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, very much so.
A lost art in some ways. I don't hate the artwork of today, but there's something to be said about late 80s, early 90s stuff, as you and I have talked about when it comes to Warhammer and stuff like that.
Oh, definitely. A lot of the sort of grime and the lived-in universe seems to have gone away now, unfortunately.
Again, not that saying that artwork today is bad.
No. It's just
It's very different.
it's just the nature of how things are now.
Yeah.
They stole his shoe. They stole his shoe.
Justin. I like that's all it takes to get rid of this one for the
Oh no,
man cover back.
it's a New York sewer lid. Our one weakness.
How did he know?
Seriously, how have I watched this? I watched this a week ago, and it's like I don't remember a damn thing.
Really?
It's well, to be fair, you're on
Straight TV time.
I was on a camping bed the entire time and getting about an hour's sleep, so I don't remember much of last week. So
I like the idea that you're actually on a campy bed. So you're like, hello.
Oh, look at you getting into me.
I never even camp.
Mikey, you're camper than a field of tents.
Yeah. So yes, I am going to apologize to anyone who I get my facts completely wrong on this episode, as I already have several times, because it's just like my brain's only just recharged today.
Dear me. Oh, they're going to Arkham.
Oh
Of
God!
course they are.
To Arkham to buy a fresh pig. Home again, jiggity jig.
I just realized
What?
that's the voice actor for Garfield.
You didn't know that?
No, I never made that connection before.
Oh,
Well, here's a bit of other weird fact that, obviously the guy that Venkman plays here,
Mm.
he plays Garfield in the movie. Like the real Peter plays the Garfield in the movie. It's just like they swapped over roles.
Yes, they did, didn't they?
It's weird. Yeah.
Charmer.
Yeah, he's a lady killer.
Hey, baby, you look dense.
She's got some Mickey Mouse gloves on as well.
oh, she is Alice Derleth, which is a reference to August Derleth, which is another publisher and contributor to the Cthulhu mythos.
Mm.
I always loved the music in Real Ghostbusters.
It's quite subtle.
Mm.
Do-do-do.
I mean, at times incredibly 80s, but
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wait till you get to the later seasons and they have little songs.
yeah, you get Slimer in the Real Ghostbusters.
Yeah, let's never get to that.
I love them and the masks.
Yeah, the masks are brilliant. I like the idea.
An octopus crashed into their heads.
I like the idea that they're not actually wearing masks. They just went off and hollowed out a couple of octopuses.
Totally. They just go to the fisher's market.
Yeah. Maybe it's a self-defense thing. If they're attacked, the octopus slaps them away.
Cthulhu.
We've got calamari. Don't make me use them. Oh, shit.
It's not a
Your
bad.
mom's the shoggoth.
It's not a bad rendition of a shoggoth. It's not enough of a nameless blob, but
No.
for 80s TV, I'm quite happy with it.
Jesus.
That's kind of terrifying for a kid to see that. I'd be like, oh my God.
Oh,
Look, there's a train.
Finding anything. What? What?
A little bit of bumpers for you. Sorry about that.
And you stone. Poor shoggoth.
I never
I
mentioned.
was just put up a hug.
I never mentioned it before, but did anyone notice the library at the beginning?
The library, you say?
Yeah.
No.
The library it's got a big stone lion statue on the top, at the front. And it's the same library for the first Ghostbusters film.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Which is something I always quite liked.
Is that the big New York library?
Yeah,
though?
yeah.
Is that the famous landmark one?
Yeah. It is.
Winston looks like Frank Welker.
No, Ray looks like Frank Welker.
Ray is voiced by Frank Welker. Winston looks like him.
There's something very wrong with you.
What you talking about, Willis?
Damn. So weird.
It's actually quite freaky. Do you want me to go through my notes here rather than trying to keep up with the episode?
Yeah, go for
Because
it.
my notes are insane for this episode. So we've got Clark Ashton, which is a reference to Clark Ashton Smith. Ted Kleen, who just come here now. Ted Kleen, who is a mythos writer. Necronomicon gets mentioned. Spawn of Cthulhu. Miskatonic University is mentioned more than once, which is the university set in Arkham. Arkham is mentioned. Alice Derleth, a reference to August Derleth. The Old Ones. The Mystery of the Worm, a fictional book containing spells and enchantments written by Ludwig Prynne, who was an alchemist, necromancer, and mage burned at the stake during the Rich Trials.
Oh my God, it's a Jai.
Yes, pretty much. It was written by Jai. The Book of Darzan is a ancient text of alleged Tibetan origin, dealing with various occult and historic manner of beings. The Pentatonic manuscripts are the history of the great race of Yith, predating the race of man. Shoggoths, even though they're called Shoggoths in this, it's Shoggoths. Lovecraft obviously gets mentioned. Mr. Howard is mentioned, which is a reference to Robert Howard, the Cthulhu mythos writer and part of Lovecraft's friends and inner circle. But at some point they talk about the weird tales, and they talk about the horror from the depths, which is a very obvious... It's not an existing story, but it sounds a lot like one. You've got Wagner's Occult Shop, which is a reference to Karl Edward Wagner, who was an American writer, editor, and publisher of horror, science fiction, and heroic fantasy. He also did a load of publishing of the Conan stuff. Elton Shards, which is mysterious pottery fragments found in 1882 in southern England. They also talk about some point about this. I told you there was a lot. The Xanathu tablets, which is 12 engraved pieces of black jade, inscribed by Xanathu, a wizard and priest of the high god Yugotha. They are written in...
Hang on, did you say Xanadu?
Xanathu, sorry. Did I say Xanadu?
Oh, no. I don't know. I thought you said Xanadu, and I just thought, what, like the song?
No, nothing like the song. Xanadu. They're basically a big reference to the sunken continent of Mu.
Okay.
Then the
How's it spelled?
M-U.
Oh, not M-O-O.
I haven't heard about that in years.
Yep. Oh,
I feel old now.
There is absolutely loads. Clark Ashton speculates the theft would lead to a ransom. Peter actually references the Limburg kidnapping. There's the bit where they talk about Gozer earlier on.
Oh, yes. Yeah, and you mentioned the Stephen King, didn't you?
Was it King in this one?
Yeah, King.
Yeah,
King.
Yeah, I was just looking through this. One of my favourite bits about this that I noticed is that Ray moves his lips when he reads. And look, he rises. He rises.
What's he doing?
It's surprising how close he is to New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like he was right there. Then again, last time I saw this kind of scene, Optimus Prime beat the shit out of it. It's just like, so this unholy abomination, yep, beaten up by being punched in the face.
I remember being kind of confused when I saw this the first time and thinking, that doesn't look like my Cthulhu.
It's not a bad design. I kind of...
Oh, no. It's just not the one that everybody knows. It's not the one that sits on my my stereo player at night and sends me off to Dreamland.
And that's why you don't sleep like usual people.
I sleep well, though.
Oh, well, yes.
Oh, direct reference. Direct reference.
Yes.
His head regrowing.
Yep.
Direct reference.
What's quite funny is I'm not even halfway through the amount of references that we've missed out.
Oh, Jesus.
So I'm just going to pick out a few others.
What we should basically saying, go home. Go home, Cthulhu. We don't want you here.
Right, the spell that she's using now mentions Nodens, which is an elder god.
Huh. Why does Cthulhu not like him?
Yeah, there's no real reason for it.
It's just one of those things.
You're not paying me enough.
That guy owes me $5. Rah.
What's quite fun is that's not the first time she's mentioned a spell. The spell that she mentioned earlier on has turned up in another cartoon.
Huh?
Yeah, it was in the first Dungeons and Dragons episode.
Oh. Seriously, that train freaks me out.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's creepy.
Why is there a bear?
Sorry for those of you watching this on DVD. We're not.
Bad. Well, you should release it in the UK. How about that?
Yeah, that would be a nice idea.
Yeah. Instead of just America. Americans are greedy with their DVD releases. Just saying that now.
Yes, they are.
Bad people.
When they retreat, if you might have noticed, Peter mocks Egon by calling him a Pollyanna. which is a principle based on a 1913 novel. It indicates that at the subconscious level, our minds have a tendency to focus on the optimistic, while the conscious level, people have a tendency to focus on the negative. That's the Pollyanna principle.
I agree with half.
Yes. I actually hurt my hand writing all these notes out.
Not surprised.
There's so much in this episode, it's ridiculous. Cthulhu Fatagan. It means no worries for the rest of
No. Surely it means a lot of worries for the 5 seconds you've got to worry about it.
There's no point worries.
It's only 5 seconds.
Yeah.
It's long enough to go, oh, shit.
As long as it's not like the 5 seconds that you get in, Event Horizon kind of 5 seconds. Do you see?
Did I ever tell you my favorite color was red? Blood red.
Why is he waving?
Because he loves Peter. Hey, Peter.
Oh my God. It's Peter Beckman. Oh, but I've seen all your films.
A few guys.
All of this is actually just a story about how the Ghostbusters have to hold off a rabid fan.
I could buy it.
Yes, just looking through my notes now. Like Peter references horror writer Stephen King when the gang pulls up at Mr. Howard's home. Yep, of course he does. I do like the description of Godzilla wearing an octopus hat.
That's something. Cthulhu versus Godzilla. I've seen images of that.
I have not, and I'm annoyed at myself.
So, is this the biggest thing that they fight in the cartoon series?
I think so.
Okay.
I don't think they ever go up against anything bigger.
Well, is he bigger than the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man?
I just mean in terms of scale and threat.
Oh, I mean, because
Because, bless him, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man was not the greatest threat in the end.
No, it's just he was big.
Yeah.
I remember them going after someone, and it was supposed to be like the ultimate evil, but I think it was later. It was supposed to be closer to a series finale.
I'm sure.
Silent Slimer and the Ghostbusters then.
No, I doubt it somehow. Oh no, you've annoyed.
I also like how the masks, the way they flow down and combined with the outfit, look exactly like an octopus mantle.
Oh no, it's the puppets. Cheese it, fellas.
Oh man, that cop
He's enjoying.
what's it, Hansi?
What's he doing?
He's enjoying the wriggling.
What?
Old man Weathers.
No way. It was the dude with the tash. See, Mikey, this is why we want you not to have a mustache. You know?
Shut.
Her little tirade is in fact a direct reference to Call of Cthulhu.
Really? Ah,
Yeah, no one was taken word for word. There was one earlier on that I'm surprised that Maggie didn't pick up on. Let me just go through my notes again, because I've got a lot of notes here. Where did it go? Where have I put it? But basically, yeah, there's a massive reference to the nameless city, that which is not dead, may eternal die.
Like that. I can't quote.
In Stranger Eons, even death may die.
Yes, I recognize it. I thought, because you started talking, and I thought you were going to say it then, didn't you?
I don't think I did. I might have done. How much am I? I have no memory.
Yes. In the context of the nameless city, as much as I can understand it, that's referencing the fact that the race has fallen. Whatever they were worshipping is down there as well.
Mm-hmm.
And they're both coming back, because at the end of it, he sees a few of the creatures alive after seeing the nameless horror.
A lot of people take that quote to mean Cthulhu sleeping in sleeps. But it means it turns up a couple of times.
Well, it's something that's very easily applicable to any of the old ones.
Well, very much so. Very much so. Because none of them are dead. They are merely waiting and sleeping.
They're scattered around the universe or Earth or dimension or whatever, and they're waiting for because I mean, when Cthulhu rises, that's bad. But the problem with Cthulhu rising is that everyone else is rising as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's I would take it as referencing the old ones myself.
Yes,
but
the great old ones. So, what did you feel about that episode? We'll start with you, Mr. Andy.
I really liked it. I liked all of the Cthulhu references. I like the imagery they had going on there. It wasn't to the point where it would break a child's mind or Sam Neill's mind. Though I would be so in if they had like a Sam Neill laughing in a cinema at one point. Would that not be awesome?
Well, as it would have predated the movie, yes. It
would have seen the future.
Yeah, that would have been seriously weird. Oh, God, because it would have meant that Sam Neill has gone through everything, seen everything that's just happened, but someone's watching that video in the future.
Yep. That's why he laughed, because he knew he was going to be in the Ghostbusters first. I liked it. I liked apart from Cthulhu being not the green Cthulhu that I love and have on my bed. Apart from that, yeah, it's a fun little episode. It's a good one.
I do think that Cthulhu goes out a little easy.
It
should have been. It should have been a two-parter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how many of the Ghostbuster episodes were two-parters? Because I honestly don't know. Did it have any two-parters?
I don't actually think there are any two-parters. If there are, I can't remember any of them.
No, I'm guessing like maybe it was just one of those series that maybe it was a Deke thing. I don't know. Did Deke do any part?
Wasn't Real Ghostbusters designed for syndication?
It probably was.
The movies were so popular, they were releasing them for syndication. And when you do a show for syndication, you don't have continuity to at least early on in episode. You don't have ongoing storylines because then when shows are shown in syndication, they can be shown in various different orders depending on the time of day or what you've been smoking or whatever. So
Cartoons at least had one two-parter in there though. I look at Transformers. That had loads.
Yeah, but Transformers was created to start a franchise and sell some toys. Ghostbusters was riding the popularity of something else.
That's still I'm pretty sure most cartoons from that era at least had one or two two-parters floating around, apart from if it was obviously a one-season deal kind of thing.
I don't know. I honestly don't know off the top of my head. It feels wrong, but then many things do with me.
Oh, Jesus. Wow.
They feel so right at the same time.
I'm just going to stick with wow.
Yeah.
So how did you feel about that episode, Mikey?
Well, I love Black Frank Welker.
God's sake.
I really liked it. As I said, I went off on that little talk about the perception of Cthulhu. I quite liked they went with something different.
Mm-hmm.
More in style with their own designs.
Yes, very much so.
Both Cthulhu and the Spawn. But I think it was quite well done. Loads and loads of references, but if you don't know anything about Cthulhian mythos, you will not get a single one, and it'll just seem like cool dialogue.
Yeah, that's the clever way of doing it. It's you reference something, but you don't make it like reference and then look at the camera.
Is it Cthulhu?
Mm-hmm.
Like they have someone walk across and say, "Oh, thank you, Mr. Lovecraft." And then everyone slowly rotates around.
The bodies don't move, just the heads.
No, I thought it was really well constructed, good visuals, good little action. He did go out like a pussy, but it's a children's 80s cartoon. They're not going to do Cthulhu credit in that regard.
Yeah.
He's not going... I mean, I love the fact they had the reference to his head regrowing.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was such a simple thing to put in there. I also quite like the end, which... If you know, even the small, like me, you're only a basic introduction level for Lovecraft. Just that little rant from evil Frank Welker, or Megatron, I will be calling him from now on. Was really, it was quite fun because it's basically, you beat him, but you didn't win.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, if you don't know anything about Lovecraftian mythos, that's like, look, the bad guy's not taking it with grace. If you do know anything about Lovecraft mythos, you're sort of like, oh yeah.
I like how you basically equate it to the bad guy as a sore loser.
Yeah, well, that's what it always feels like. It's just like, I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for the rotten kids and their talking dog. Why does no one question this? The dog's talking, everyone.
In the fairness, in the same universe, they have a caveman who hangs around with 3 hot chicks who are in a band.
I wait for that day that happens to me. One day I'll get a caveman.
I forgot there. But it's something I like because it's just tying more elements of the mythos into the show as much as they can, because they cannot have the show ending with, by the way, Cthulhu will be back and you're all fucked.
Exactly. Yeah.
But they can have that reference in there, and if you know a bit about it, you're like, oh, that's really cool. Massively depressing, but cool. So I liked it. Apart from Cthulhu,
Yeah.
is this? Well, oh God, that's it. It's not Cthulhu. It's his sister.
Cassif. Don't talk.
This was all
No. We're getting into Brian Lumley territory. There is a female Cthulhu.
Is there? Oh God, what's it called?
I don't want to remember.
Is she a bitch, or is she like
Oh.
is she all mother?
She lives in a Elysium with the other good Cthulhus.
This is the good Cthulhu's. Oh my God, I have to read this. I have to read.
Just read Burrows and the Burrows Beneath and leave it at that.
No, I have to read. I have to read this. I have to read about the good Cthulhu's and their wonderful dances in the snow. As girl Cthulhu claps her hands and tentacles in joyous songs.
As Titus Crow travels through time in his magic clock.
As Cthulhu's banging on the door saying, God damn it, stop using my name. This is poor representation. Calm down. Calm down. You want a cup of tea? No, I don't want a cup of fucking tea. I'm the harbinger of the apocalypse.
I have one job. One job.
I felt to drink fucking tea.
Shall we move on to the next episode?
Shall I read this book now?
So the next one we've got is from season 6, and it's episode 8, and it's Rushing About. And Russian About. And we will start it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
No intro sequence.
No.
Right into it.
But look who it's written by.
Yeah.
Now, this
I mean,
one...
oh God, I like J. Michael Straczynski.
I know, it's just like, oh God, that's a name I recognize.
Okay.
Now, this is where Ghostbusters was starting to get a little bit weird.
Cheap.
Because, the studio execs have really stepped in at this point. The budgets have been slashed, and it's been written by committee.
You could cut yourself on Peter's chin.
Oh, the amount that Ray changes size is incredible. Like, he gains and loses weight faster than people in Hollywood.
But I think the most annoying thing about this episode, as we'll discover as we go through it, is that at no point do they mention Cthulhu or the Necronomicon. No. What happened to you, Ray? Oh my God.
Yeah, he looks like a monkey.
Looks like he got really ill really fast.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what I look like on a plane.
Yep.
I go on really fat, and by the end, I'm like super skinny.
Yeah, and
weight.
I was just thinking, unfortunately, Ghostbusters fell into the classic problem of not knowing when to quit.
Very much so.
You look at the last episode. The animation here is technically better, but it's not good.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not.
The animation before wasn't up to date, but it was very good for its time.
Yeah, it's solid.
Consistent,
I think the term is.
Yeah. Very consistent. I mean, it's not that long before that we had stuff like Brave Star and He-Man, where running was a painful experience to watch on TV.
Running, magic jump.
Look at these. Look at that. What the hell is with the egg fella?
Oh, do you understand? Yeah, sorry. I'll say that again. Did you notice the changing animation style for that?
Yes.
Because that is actually shots from an episode called DeadCon 1.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
They just took the crowd scene from DeadCon 1 and stuck it in this episode.
Cheap bastards.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Also, why was there an Eggman clapping?
Because it's from DeadCon 1.
I don't know. Was there an Eggman in DeadCon 1?
Well, obviously, because he was from DeadCon 1.
I know, but was it like an actual character? Because that looked like a design from a completely different show. Like the Mormons? The Moomins?
Oh my God. The Ghostbusters versus the Mormons.
Oh, wow.
What the hell's wrong with you, Mikey? Why would you even think of that?
Because Michael likes to think of
Nicholas. The Moomins, and then I said Mormons.
Oh, Mikey.
Mormons are wonderful people. I know several, and they're lovely.
I only know Nicole, and I don't like her.
Didn't name me a Mormon.
Spot the Russians.
I
I love his twitch in his eye.
was going to say, I can't. Is that supposed to be a twitch, or is it basically just the animation's really cheap?
I don't.
I think you know the answer.
No matter what the answer is, I like the idea he's twitching.
Uh,
But then again, you said about people not looking like they're from the real Ghostbusters. Look at these two.
no, they look like they're from Earth One Gym.
I was actually going to say they look like they're from Dennis the Menace.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
The American version.
Yeah. So
I've never seen that.
I did.
You surprised me, sir. You surprised me.
I heard about it, and then I said I'm not watching that. And it wasn't on Irish TV.
No, Peter.
Lucky dog.
No, Peter. Don't push out our natural enemy, the Ruskies. Oh, this is actually set in Ukraine, which is still part of the Soviet Union at the time this was made. Egon, someone to diss Einstein, he's now going to remove their face. Oh, this is all the things that were in his face. Whoa, what the hell? Hello, Mikey.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
I think we've had technical issues.
Technical my be and very technical likey. I thought of it because you can edit this out now. Still haven't.
Are we now back? You're making that up. You're making that up.
Now, what? There's a problem with the signal. I'm going through a tunnel.
You know what's really weird? Listening to you two talk about me. It's just like everything's playing away, and I'm listening, but you're clearly not hearing me. And
Yeah,
I accidentally hit stop, so I've got to find my place again. God damn it.
well, we're now just watching the Ghostbusters with their streams firing into the sky.
Yes, I noticed that, and I'm just like, that doesn't seem safe.
Quickly, we must now capture Slimer and never let him out, the little bastard.
Because they knew he was going to get his own series. They were trying to stop it from happening.
But Egon, your series is declining rapidly. I don't care.
How did they convince Slimer that this would be okay?
They promised food.
Actually, yeah, that is a very good question. How did they convince Slimer to let them shoot him and stick him in a box?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no guarantee he's coming out of that box.
Well, as we find out now.
He's unhurt. He's dead.
Now, my question is, Mikey, what would it take for you to let me and Andy shoot you and put you in a box?
Not much. He's a student.
Yeah, to be fair, offer me anything.
Excellent.
Uh-huh.
If I offer you not being shot and put in a box, would you then allow us to shoot you and put you in a box?
Offer me something that isn't self-contradictory.
No, I like the idea that we've got, like, Schrodinger's Mikey.
Either dead nor alive. That'd be ace.
Oh, God.
So, Gruff, the nameless book.
It's the Necronomicon. It's just the studio execs did not want it to be named. Say with
Oh,
one
really?
colleague, yeah. It's the same with the they started talking about the last old one. It is Cthulhu,
Right.
but
Yeah.
they just didn't want it to be named again.
Really?
What,
Yeah.
that they were out of ideas, or because they were like, they didn't want to mention the stuff on their net? Because it's Fox now instead of
Yeah.
USA.
But as I say, because it was syndication, it changed hands for about halfway through, as far as I understand it anyway. And because of that,
Yep.
the new network just went, no. And I say,
So what you're
it's
saying is
the budgets and whatnot.
So Fox touched something, and it turned shit.
Oh, yeah. Look at The Simpsons.
It's just like Fox got their hands on something, and it just like, oh, look, something beautiful. Goodbye.
Yeah. Well, look at the news.
Ray's head is disproportionate to the rest of him.
Oh, the question I've got here is it actually Cthulhu? Because when we see it later on, it's got a different design.
Yeah, well, that could easily just be put down to everything else, because
Yeah.
everything's got a different design.
But
Yeah.
I like to think that it isn't actually Cthulhu. It's something else. It just
Yeah.
being.
Does that,
I'm putting
fair,
I'm putting my own continuity into it, basically.
I suspect that the writers didn't actually know there was already a Cthulhu episode.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, you know what? If I'm talking about old ones and everything else, I would sort of turn around. Oh yeah, one time we fought this gigantic thing that was basically hell incarnate, and that might be a good thing to reference. Maybe find that woman again. No, we're not going to do that.
I do have a question because the creature, we do see a bit of it. We don't see all of it, but I think it's quite clear it doesn't have any legs, right?
I think so.
You think it does or it doesn't?
No, I think it doesn't.
Yeah. Then why are there like giant steps?
Because.
Yeah. That's just something I thought about when I saw this episode and I saw the design of the big creature when we get up to it. I was like, but it's got no legs. Why did people make giant steps for it to climb up? Wouldn't that make it much more
it's not
painful?
It's for something else. It's for their dog.
Oh, look, a semi-reference. We're going after an old one again.
Yeah.
And Slimer wants the fuck out.
And yet he can't get out of a car because he's a ghost.
Actually, yeah, you're intangible, you little green bastard.
And also,
Does bring a
Slimer
problem later on.
Slimer wasn't in the original episode.
No, he wasn't.
So why would he be scared?
Maybe they've been after. Maybe this is like the 17th one they've gone after, and that Slimer's just tired of it. Just like every other week, it's just like another old one. I don't want it anymore. Black Welker.
I want to see the Comrade Ghostbusters.
Oh, would they be like the Russian version of G.I. Joe, whatever they were?
Oh, the October Guard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Busters.
Yeah, man.
The October Guard. Oh, God.
What was your problem with Russia, America?
Well, they were at war with them at the time.
No, they weren't. It was a secret war.
It wasn't secret, it was a Cold War.
Yeah, secret. Secrets are cold.
Revenge is a dish best served secretly.
I prefer my food being served at a good temperature, personally. And these cultists are way shitter.
Oh,
they don't have
God.
little tentacle octopus hats.
They're way shitter, and the freaking ceremony is terrible.
Oh, yeah. Especially when they pull out the joke at the end. Like, as a kid, fine. That's kind of funny as a kid, but I remember because I watched this today in preparation for this and was like, oh, wow, really? Really? As Mikey starts up the jet's engines.
Fly, Mikey, fly!
I don't want to fly.
What have you done, Mikey?
I don't want to fly.
What have you
Doing
done?
he changed his voice quality from bad to even worse.
Hell, feck all of you.
Mikey, are you now in an Ed 209 suit?
Yes, I am.
Excellent.
So he doesn't start crying like the baby when it falls down the stairs.
The wonderful thing is that with the magic of Audacity, you won't be able to hear this. So
That's if Gruff edits it.
Yeah, I might not. I might just stick to as is.
I wouldn't, because you don't know what I've been saying back here when you couldn't hear me.
Oh, I look forward to hearing it.
But I started singing again.
No, no.
Oh, wow.
We have Cthulhu's Diary. On Monday, I bought milk. I also wiped the soul of the person selling the milk. The milk should not cost 47p.
I do find that quite funny.
What?
Just like they just put this pedestal on the guy. I will read from this, but first lie on this so I can put this heavy stone thing on your back. Okay. Oh, shit.
That was for me a bit of an eye-rolling moment. It's like, come on, guys. You've got all the cultists here, and you can't get your pedestal to work.
Yeah.
This is the beginning of a really bad lecture, isn't it?
You see, this is the where it gets weird, because in season 2 we had that amazing sense of dread and things got built up throughout the episode. In this, it's a lots of police academy jokes.
Is this kind of what Ghostbusters became later on?
Yeah,
From
season 6 onwards. Yeah, season 6 onwards, it kind of falls apart.
Right.
But that still leaves 5 series that are really good.
Did they really just say sis boom ba?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fuck me in the ass.
Wow, well, there's an offer you can't refuse, ladies.
Not in the literal sense.
No, I don't know about that.
It's just like the last time they were chanting in Cthulhian ancient languages that made you go, ooh, cool. Now they're going sis, boom, ba, rah, rah, rah.
Yeah.
Oh, good
Exactly.
God, Fox.
You see,
Why is it?
it's amazing, isn't it? The difference in tone
Yeah.
between the two series, or between the
It
two
is.
seasons.
I'll be honest, when I watched this episode today, I was extremely disappointed.
Mhm.
I was like, oh, come on, Gruff. What the fuck? It actually took me a while to figure out why you chose this episode. Because I was like, is this a Cthulhu-inspired episode? Is this an H.P. Lovecraft episode? And then finally I got to it, and it was like, oh, okay.
Mhm.
But still, woof.
You can tell it's newer because Slimer has a part in it.
Yeah. Very much so.
Oh, Slimer. Why did people latch onto you like you were the show?
Because he was the mascot, and kids like mascots. Because every show around this time really had a mascot. Oh dear. Sorry, I forgot about those horribly edited still shots that they cut in.
Yeah.
Wish you could tell one part of that scene. Ooh, awful. Did we talk about the new voice actor for Peter Venkman?
Worse.
Yeah, we kind of brought him up a little bit.
Okay,
A lot worse.
he is. Because I like the first Peter Venkman. He's good. How long does that Peter Venkman last?
Up until season 6.
Oh, okay.
There is the
6 is when it goes to shit.
There is the occasional episode where somebody else steps in.
Right.
Him and Egon get the occasional other voice.
How did the military detect ghosts?
Why are we having a theme where they're shooting Slimer with missiles in a story about a fucking thing?
Yeah.
Why Slimer is scared of being hit by a missile?
Yeah, you did. Because is it because at this point they were really playing down the fact that Slimer?
Yes, Mikey. Yes, they were.
Hey kids, Slimer's dead.
That would be awesome.
That's going to sound better once this shirt put together.
Slimer, he's dead. The series. The Adventures of Dead Boy.
Again, he was scared of a polar bear. What's the polar bear going to do? Eat him?
Getting messy. Oh, look, they're not even walking. They're just gliding.
I can do that.
Walking.
It's a gaunt. But it's not. That's not how it worked last time.
Isn't it?
How did
Isn't
it fly without moving any part of its body?
Other dimensional being.
But it
It doesn't use the same physics that our world uses.
I was putting it down to cheap animation, but I mean, if that's the explanation.
Sure, of course it is. Oh, Piotr.
What have you done?
God, how often does Ray change in this episode?
That's right.
How many Rays are there?
Oh,
You want me to upset you further?
Sure.
The what do you call it? The shot there of the fire station. It actually came from another episode as well.
Of course it did.
for fuck's sake!
Of course it did.
Why are we sending 15 fucking years on Slimer holding a box named Big Trouble?
Because it's quirky fun.
No, it's not.
Oh, ho, ho.
Fucking lame.
That's still going on with our silly shishbumba.
Shoot him in the face.
But remember that he explained during the science thing that the proton streams don't actually do much to humans.
It also sets things on fire. So you know,
Remember that?
I think when his sleeve started catching fire. So if you shoot the people that are wearing gigantic cloaks, they'll probably go up in flames.
Maybe. It just seemed to make the clothes sizzle a bit rather than erupt them in flames, but
I really want these two to be named Oishki and Boishki. Oh my god.
It doesn't get much better, like, does it?
no.
Oishki, Boishki. The old one doesn't have an army.
Apparently he does.
He doesn't have an army.
See, when they said army, I just kind of went like the Army of Darkness. And I started thinking about Evil Dead 3 and became happy again.
I heard Arnie.
Army of Darkness underwrites us to his army. Do fight.
Ulfatagen.
I could see him as an old one.
Right.
Explain a lot.
Arnold Schwarzenegger rises from the depths.
Yeah.
Big trouble.
Thank God that Slimer can go, God, how quick around the world?
Well, they do actually mention the fact that nobody knows how fast nobody knows how fast a ghost can fly.
Granted, but it's pretty impressive the speeds he must be hitting.
See, I would say like, oh, he's a ghost. He doesn't really fly. He just appears. But no, we see him outrunning a missile.
Yeah. So clearly he can't be that fast because he only just barely outran a missile.
Yep.
There's something to think on.
Paris?
That's sexual harassment, Peter. You can't just randomly kiss a woman.
We'll always have Paris?
Yeah,
It's funny.
Paris Hilton.
Peter? No.
He can have Peter can have Paris Hilton if he wants. Right, so...
See, that when Peter sees it is where the episode should get really dark and he just closes his eyes out.
Yeah, he just starts screaming, blood streaming from his eyes, and he's like, ah! Wow. I'll just say, comparatively shit design.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't work, does it?
See what they were going for? Didn't work even slightly.
No, you could see it's maybe like a much smaller creature. But even
that
then.
after all that, this like 2-inch tall things come out and just go,
That would be amazing.
lead your army, Cthulhu.
Was anybody else impressed that one policeman was able to arrest so many cultists?
Oh, that's Ushton. He works hard for his paycheck.
No shit. I mean, they do say Russians are crazy.
Yeah. But Slimer, you don't get a real kiss.
And there is a reason why every car now has cameras on them because of the police. So
Slimer doing that little dance.
Racist dance, basically, what it's doing.
Well, one, that looks terrifying. It looks like a scrotum is moving. That's a green scrotum is attempting to dance.
Not like a ghost scrot to really get you in the mood.
It's just the way his body moves, the lower body moves. It is like a pair of balls dancing at you.
Wow.
Think about it. Can you see?
I see more than I really ever wanted to. I don't know. Mikey, we'll go with you first.
Completely different experience.
It is, isn't it? It
is amazing that under the same title, it just shows the difference that the creative team and the company that's in charge can make. I mean, one team were clearly writing a love letter. They did their research. They did a lot of work. They got references in there. They went all out.
Mm-hmm.
The design team did great work. It's very clear that the production company gave him reign to do what needed to be done to do a good Lovecraftian story that is, it's about why people love this stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas the other one was, we're out of ideas.
Very much so, yeah.
We've got that book. Oh, yeah. It's got that monster in it. Yeah. We can't use any of the names. Yeah. Shabadooby, Shubidoo. Rise from the depths. Slimer! Let's have Slimer outrun a missile.
Yeah.
It wasn't good. It was pretty dire.
It was massively so. The only reason it's in here is because it's the other Ghostbusters episode that deals with the Cthulhu mythos, and I felt it'd be remiss of us to not deal with it.
I think it was a good choice, but
I think it's a good one to watch in this kind of scenario because people love the show, but I think people would like defend the show to the hilt, but then you remind them of this kind of stuff, and it's like, yeah, it got really bad.
It's like some people like to really rub in the face that, do you remember those shitty episodes of Transformers that were awful? But how awesome was Ghostbusters? And it's like, well, you need, not every show had the great stuff, and this clearly hit
Yeah,
It hit something.
it went down a dark path.
Yeah.
Maybe the creators actually saw something from Lovecraft and just freaked out. All the sauces and that ensued, but it showed like how franchises evolve. They switched over. Fox is very big on saving money and creating mascot characters.
Yeah.
When Simpsons at this stage was going on, you got Bart Simpson rammed down your throat,
Oh God, I remember.
and now it's Homer Simpson being rammed down your throat. But it's the same thing. Slimer is the hero for this, essentially. And Slimer gets loads of screen time. When the other one, was he even in it? He was. I don't think he was even. I know he wasn't there for any of them. But I don't even think we had him on screen once.
No.
No.
No, and it's. I don't know. It just it's a very good way of showing how the corporate approach damages a form of art, really, because a well done piece of animation is artistic.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that.
It damages a form of art as maybe drinks his wine, just his little shippy beret.
Integrity, sir, of having 4 men shoot light monsters.
You can tell Mikey does have a friend who's an artist and goes to university, can't you? Jesus.
I go to university. I have a degree.
I only see it's intellectual.
Who's of expensive ladies.
Damn it, Mikey. When you need to leave uni and become like a stupid bum, like
Just go around calling everyone a pleb and then waving it.
Yeah, oh, yes, you really should be calling people pleb.
Oh, you little pleb. And yeah, my opinion is that was absolutely dire, and it's quite an interesting 180 after the first one.
I am so happy to hear the word pleb being used.
Yes, same.
I have no idea why. I feel like I should be more ashamed of use, but I'm not. I'm almost proud. Well done. Andy, how did you feel about that episode?
What a load of was. Oh, I was so disappointed today when I watched that episode, I was like, I get to see a new Ghostbusters episode. Everybody says how awesome Ghostbusters is. It'll be a good episode again on Cthulhu.
No, I'm afraid not.
It's like you said you were going to take me to Subway, and by Subway you meant brought me round to your house, got me a slice of bread and just buttered it once very lightly, and then went, oh, there's your Subway. Fucking like it. I'm like, no, where's my meat and potatoes? Where's my fancy chicken teriyaki sauce, son? You just kind of looked at me and went, get out.
See, I thought you were going to say, I said you were going to take you to Subway, and I took you to a Subway and just left you there.
Wow. I hope you don't do that, because there aren't many Subways in Carlisle, as far as I'm aware.
I'll make one just for you.
Oh, that's nice. That's, I guess. No, I really didn't like it. The, in quotations, bad guy in this one was way shitter and way more of it. Like, another thing I questioned, I know it's a cartoon. I know it's a cartoon, but I questioned the police. I was like, how shit of a police you are? One Russian dude says, you stole it. Where's your evidence? I don't have any. That's enough for me, Russian. He's Americans. Fuck him. Gonna lock you in a room. Anybody else? Nope. No one else would be interested in stealing this shit. Like, what's the law in Russia?
Americans equals guilty.
I guess, yeah. No, this is not good at all.
No, it wasn't.
What's that?
It was not. So, with that being said, we've discussed it, I think, as best we can and can do. I think it's time to say, who wants to pimp first?
Mikey.
Mikey, let's pimp Mikey first. Who wants a Mikey? Mike, where can the lovely people at home find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter as Irish Paleo. You can find me on YouTube and Tumblr as GWolfC3. And you can find me on FullMetalHero.com in the same place Andy can be found.
I like the fact that we've got this patted down now for doing this that many times. Andy, as usual, where can people find you?
You can find me on the Moonbase 2 podcast, which is on FullMetalHero.com. Libsyn, flown away somewhere on Libsyn, I don't know exactly where. And you can also find us on iTunes. You can find me personally, because I do the podcast with Buggerface over here.
I love you, Andy.
Bugger my wage. Bugger my cheese.
I'm sorry, Mikey, I just can't quit you. You can find me individually, though, on Twitter at CCTFW and on Tumblr under the same name. And you can find me on YouTube as Cobra Commander TFW. And I think that's everywhere. And here, occasionally, it seems to be. Sometimes on Matt's show as well. But we don't talk about his show.
Well, there's a reason that the Nerdsphere Network now has location Cumbria. So anyhow,
Yeah. And sometimes you can find me on Back to the 90s.
Oh yes, back to the 90s.
That has to come back.
Apparently,
Come on, people, rise up.
Apparently so, yes. It's a very strange thing to know. Well, you can find me usually at Grufflock on Twitter. You can find me at Grufflock on the Tumblers. You can find me at www.oldoilhouse.co.uk or at www.nerdsphere.blogspot.com. And that's pretty much everywhere. You can find me on Facebook, but you need to want it. You need to want it.
How hard do you need to want it? Long and hard.
You need to want it hard.
Alright.
So all that remains for me to say...
Please say it that.
All that remains for me to say is thank you very much for joining me on this trip down the Ghostbusters lane of Lovecraft, and we will see you next time on the Lurkers in the Lobby. Thanks to my co-host Andy, thanks to my co-host Mikey, and thanks to you for listening. Good night, y'all.
Take a lead.